brigade is they love to virtue signal without really meaning it. They love to play the victim, which I don't like. I think you've got to be stronger about things than that. We kind of got to a place where we celebrate losing more than we celebrate winning. I don't like that. This country wasn't built on celebrating losing. You know, participation prizes at school. What was that all about? Why do we do that? Why do we give little Johnny...
Piers Morgan has just released a new book that takes direct aim at woke culture, and it's every bit as explosive as expected. The unapologetically outspoken host has spent years battling political correctness, often landing himself in the middle of heated controversies. However, this latest release feels different. It's less of a fight and more of a victory lap. With this book, Morgan seems to be declaring that the cultural tides are finally shifting. Bold, brash, and unfiltered, it promises to deliver the kind of truth bombs that have defined his career.
Perfected it, Piers. Don't you worry. It's filled with stories on why he believes common sense is finally triumphing in what he calls an age of total madness. So woke isn't having a nap. It's not taking a break. It's flatlining. It's dead.
It's kind of, you know what? Elon Musk had it right. He called it a woke mind virus. It's a kind of way of thinking about life, which I happen to think. And listen, part of the book is I encourage debate. People want to listen to what I'm about to say, completely disagree. That's fine with me.
I like that.
But what you shouldn't be doing is then calling for me to be cancelled or lose my job or all this stuff that's been going on for the last few years. This country is a free democratic society. And the day we lose our ability to have robust, passionate, even sometimes angry debate, and with the day we lose the ability to listen to other views and be completely, intolerant suddenly.
I have to admit, I find myself agreeing with Piers Morgan on this one. The so-called woke wave has clearly lost much of its momentum. While it hasn't vanished completely, its influence is undeniably fading. Common sense seems to be making a long overdue comeback, reclaiming the ground that outrage culture once dominated. That said, it would be naive to assume it's gone for good. The embers are still there, waiting for the right spark to flare up again. But for now, the pendulum appears to have swung back toward reason, open dialogue, and a sense of balance. And that, honestly, feels like something worth celebrating.
Social media has a lot to do with it. I think it made us very tribal. I think people got on social media, they start to follow people that they agree with. They start to get more entrenched in their views. They start to get angrier about people that don't agree with them. My issue with the woke thing, a lot of it was just, in my view, built on sand. And it kind of played to what I think are kind of just a weak mentality. Now, one of the things I really think we don't do enough in schools, for example, I've got 4 kids. Most have been through school now. But we should teach kids how to be mentally stronger. They're under a very different set of challenges to when we grew up. When we grew up, the only challenge was, where are you going to find a conker for a conker fight outside? There was no internet, no mobile phones, very little television watching. You basically were outside most of the time.
That's absolutely true. In the end, common sense prevailed because the foundation of wokeness was never built to last. It lacked the stability of facts, logic, and consistent reasoning, relying instead on emotion, outrage, and a carefully crafted sense of moral superiority. Movements like that can only survive for so long before reality inevitably catches up. But here's the important part. Ideas like these don't disappear forever. They tend to resurface, reinvented and repackaged, often under the banner of progress. That's why it's essential to strengthen the next generation's ability to think clearly and critically. We need to nurture minds that question boldly, analyze deeply, and remain composed when emotional narratives threaten to drown out reason. Only then can society maintain its balance and guard itself against the next wave of ideological extremism.
Phones all the time. And there's a brilliant book, we were talking about this in the break, by a guy called Jonathan Haidt about the anxiety generation, where it's made kids very anxious. It's the negative dopamine rushes that come in with all the imagery from warfare and stuff, which we never used to be exposed to when we were young. Fear of missing out, the FOMO, seeing what everyone else is up to all the time. We never had that when we were young. You didn't know, right? And I think all these things have scrambled young people's brains. Part of the book is about trying to help kids be mentally stronger, how to make them more resilient. Life is tough. And I quote my favorite scene from a Rocky film. And it's a great scene where Rocky finally has it out with his spoiled brat entitled son.
He wrote it too, didn't he?
He did.
He
writes it. And it's a famous scene in the 6th movie. And he comes out and he says, life is tough. Life will knock you down and it will keep you down if you let it. And the way that you win at life is actually not how hard you can hit. It's how hard you can get hit by all the things that come at you in life and get back up.
If you understand what Piers Morgan endured at the hands of the so-called woke mob, his quoting of Rocky Balboa makes perfect sense. After Meghan Markle's explosive interview with Oprah, Morgan publicly expressed his disbelief in her claims about the royal family and her mental health struggles. That single comment ignited a firestorm of outrage. Tens of thousands of complaints flooded in, and ITV soon found itself under immense pressure to respond. When Morgan refused to apologize for voicing his opinion, he was shown the door. But the real issue ran deeper than one man's controversial remark. His firing symbolized something far more troubling: the fragility of free speech in modern society. It exposed how easily someone could lose their career for simply challenging a popular narrative. Even if Piers was wrong, the principle at stake remains essential. In a truly free society, individuals must be allowed to express unpopular opinions without fear of censorship, condemnation, or professional ruin.
Oh, he's so
Sport with it, right? You are a competitive man, right? Here's my problem with it. If you teach little Johnny, who's useless at sprinting, that if he comes last by 50 yards, he gets a prize, what does that do for him in the real world? In the real world, by the way, if you get a job and stuff, you don't get treated.
Whether I agree, I'm not saying that I agree with this, but I can understand the theory is you want little Johnny to feel like he can be included. We also want Johnny to walk away going, this is what I need to do to get better if I want to be a better sprinter.
You know what makes you get better? Losing. Pain of losing. You've got to understand the pain of losing to enjoy. You should know this is the West Ham fan.
I completely get what you're saying. It's baffling that we've shifted from celebrating excellence to simply rewarding participation. Hard work, talent, and dedication shouldn't be seen as offensive. They should be recognized and encouraged. When everyone gets a trophy, it sends the wrong message. Effort doesn't matter, and achievement must be diluted for the sake of equality. This approach doesn't help anyone. It discourages ambition and demoralizes those who genuinely strive to excel. Students who push themselves to the top start asking, why bother? While those who put in less effort are given the same accolades, fostering a false sense of accomplishment. Over time, this culture of hollow validation weakens everyone, especially the brightest minds, who thrive on challenge, not comfort. True progress isn't about equal rewards. It's about equal opportunity and the courage to celebrate merit without apology.